Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. That was a really good swing. Why don't you guys continue to pray for me by singing along with me, gesturing at the camera, and leaving a like on this video. This is going to be a Peter Like Show, and I'll get to why in a second. Let's do it again. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, happy Labor Day. I know I cursed about the concept of a Labor Day, but the truth is that my life was kind of overheated, out of control in the first place. And as bad as Labor Day is in terms of well, I talked about in the last video how I don't think the feds should tell us when to take a day off. As bad as it is, it's not the end of the world in some ways. What makes things a lot what is a lot worse is when I teach at a community college when we shut down for like a week, like for the spring break or the summer break. And there are two reasons Peter disliked those 1 week breaks. First of all, the rest of the year I'm working my tail off, and the rest of the year I can only dream of having a few more long weekends like this one. And then we take a whole week off, like when I only needed 2 days at a time, right? It's just really insulting. It's kind of like you're starving. All you can eat buffet for like 1 day, and then you're going back to starving, right? It feels kind of like that, right? I think most people can agree that that would be unhealthy to eat like that, and yet work is probably even a bigger part of our lives than eating. We work like that, right? Imagine imagine you could only eat once a month, right? I think that would be terribly unhealthy, right? Once a week might be okay, right? Once a day would be perfect, but at the extremes, once a month would probably cause its own set of problems, right? 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day causes its own set of problems, right? And but the truth is that most people work differently, right? That's why I want the government to get out of holidays. Ideally, we would get rid of weekends too, and people would work between themselves on who gets what days off, right? That would be ideal. After all, who do you think can better decide when to take weekends? You and your colleagues and your boss at work, or the federal government, right? I'll let you decide that, right? But amongst all the other days I get off, Labor Day isn't exactly the end of the world. I just wish we could choose what day it is. I apologize if I offended anybody who is pro labor, right? There are certainly good things that the labor union has brought to us, right? It's just that a different way of going about it would probably do wonders. Let's just put it that way. But anyways, I'm kind of on a little bit of a bender of good fortunes lately, in large part because of my ex girlfriend. I didn't want to think about her. She is getting married, and I'm happy for her. I'm trying not to overthink it. Yesterday, I heard a song on the radio that reminded me of that, a country song. I can't remember what it was. Uh, who sang that? It was about a good fortunes after his girlfriend had left him in a hurry. I'll Google it and post it somewhere. But there's probably a lot of country songs like that anyway. But that's how I felt these last couple of weeks. Except that the good fortunes are kind of running amok now, right? I'm burning myself out. Sometimes biting off more than I could chew with those gig work and art projects. Here's another Mondrian square that I recently drew. My best one so far. This is 16 inches by 16 inches. The only thing I want to do with Mondrian squares that I haven't had the courage to do is do an anodization on metal with this stuff. I tried it with a smaller one. I couldn't find the right adhesive label because if you think about it, you need to do it in stages. Or what you do is you take a piece of either titanium or tantalum, and you got to cut out adhesive labels for the let's say the red ones. You anodize the rest of it, and then you cover up some more squares, and then you anodize it to a higher voltage. Unfortunately, the label has, after dipping it in and out of the anodizing solution, it's a baking soda and water solution, has a tendency to peel, and I didn't have very good fortune with doing that. Well, I'll give it another try at some point. Now that I need to take my mind off. I need to write a country song about this situation, about keeping so busy to not think about. And I'm not even upset at my ex girlfriend. I'm happy she's getting married. I sometimes even have to remind myself. I don't know what's driving this. The other thing that's driving this, and this one might be closer to the truth. She knows that I tried to marry myself, right? Solo sexual marriage, and she knows that it has failed at times, right? Especially when I was sick with COVID-19, especially when I was busy, I didn't have somebody to attend to the household chores. Those are the two main reasons that my solo sexual marriage breaks down, right? I don't tend to get into other fights with myself, right? I don't get into financial battles around not having a second set of hands, right? Knows that I've struggled with having a good solo sexual marriage. And now that she's getting married, I once again want to show her, I don't know if she's watching, but I once again want to feel like I'm showing her that solo sexual marriage can work, right? It's kind of akin to the US and Russia trying to demonstrate whether capitalism or socialism was going to get us to the moon first, right? It kind of feels like that, right? Now she and I are demonstrating which kind of marriage will lead to us being successful first, right? I really do feel that these last couple of months, right? And it's causing a lot of drama in my life. After all, the U.S. did have a lot of drama when we tried to go to the moon, right? We lost 3 astronauts. Apollo 1, the fire. The Soviets also lost the only 3 people that have ever actually died in space. Right? We've had a lot of people who died going to space, but the Russians, the cosmonauts, were the only 3 that actually died in space. Right? So there was a lot of drama getting us to the moon. Right? Just like there is a lot of drama for my ex-girlfriend and I to demonstrate to each other which kind of marriage works better. Right? All right, so continue to pray for me by leaving a like on this video. Tonight, I'm going to go to a board game meetup there's a girl there that I have been hesitating on making a move on, but now that I'm in such a hyper mood, it might be the time to do it. I'm going to show her a new game, a 4-player Othello game that I'm also programming AI for at the moment. I also got a book about area mazes. I hope this will be inspiration for some additional art projects. These are mazes involving geometric patterns. Very fun stuff, and also inspiration for some art as well. And I'll give that anodizing another try of anodizing tantalum to make the Mondrian squares. I'll give that another try. So please continue to pray for me by liking this video. This is the Peter Like Show. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum, 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 bum.